everybody, and welcome to Soccer Magazine's coverage of the World Cup. Ollie, your thoughts so far on the World Cup? We've seen 20 teams play now. We've still got to see another 12, so another 6 games before we got through the first round. Obviously, the talking point is the massive upset of Saudi Arabia over Argentina. No one predicted it. No one saw it coming. Apparently, some guy on Supersport predicted it, but I'm not convinced.
You wonder if he was in the VAR room as well. There were some great. I think one of the coolest things about soccer and soccer culture is everything that surrounds it outside of the game. And you know, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you're guaranteed just a plethora of memes afterwards, you know, and one of them that I saw was like the VAR room, and it was just Ronaldo's face like behind the screen after Messi obviously had those goals disallowed. Does make you wonder in instances like that. I think 9 offsides, you know, 3 goals disallowed to Argentina.
Well,
it's like,
well, to me, Saudi were gambling. Gambling big time with the high line, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Because yes, I think that almost all of those things were offside. So maybe the timing of their runs could have been better.
Yeah.
And on any other day, that could have been a 4-5-0 victory for Argentina.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is why we play these tournaments, to have the Cinderella stories. But I was reading the Daily Mail, which I try not to do very often because it's such a great platform, but shit content and Mungo content. Talking about Messi, you know, how slow he looked, and I was wondering, what game did you guys watch? You know, it's like I have very little doubt. I know they're your choice for the World Cup. I have very little doubt that they're going to come back. They're on a perilous slope now. You know, one wrong footstep, and they're off the mountain. Because you're gonna need at least 4 points to go through.
Well, I mean, Poland and Mexico drawing was a good result for them, given that Argentina had lost. But you look at 2010, Spain lost their first game. They still won the World Cup. It's possible. The Springboks with rugby, you know, they lost their first game against the All Blacks in 2019, still won the World Cup. So, if anything, it just ups that pressure, it ups that ante of like, now you need to kind of perform. But I think.
Do you think the England fans should be warbling up their "It's Coming Home" rendition again?
Yeah, until about half time of the quarterfinals when they just completely implode. You know? I really wouldn't be surprised.
But they look clinical in finishing off.
No, they looked incredible, and I think you just look at England is actually one of those squads, you know, like Brazil, where you look at who's coming off the bench as well. You look at the choices that they've got to start, and I think what was really cool, at least for that first bit, is he's back Bukayo Saka to start, back Jude Bellingham, and you know, the youth very much got the ball rolling in that game. But then you had, you know, Sterling scoring the 3rd goal. He's sort of like old trusted star player, and look, England looked menacing. They looked promising, but
well, they were clinical, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. It was just an enjoyable game to watch. Shame, you got to feel sorry for the Iranian goalkeeper. That was his first international match. The substitute goalie that came on.
Yeah, nothing like giving up a half dozen. Huh?
Yeah, you can only get better from there.
Yeah.
I unfortunately lost a bet on that. I spoke about it briefly in a video yesterday. I think there were 24 minutes of extra time in total in that game. 14 minutes in the first half, and then 10 minutes in the second half. And then on the 12th minute of that 10, Iran were awarded a penalty and my bet lost. So.
Yeah, well, those are the fine margins in betting. Eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big margin, that extra 10 minutes, but...
still controversial in terms of, I'm not going to talk about it, but the controversy, I don't think it's going to go away. When the 2010 World Cup was in South Africa, and I went to the quarterfinal, I think it was Germany-England in Bloemfontein. I was staying at a resort that had some of the media crew over from the UK, and they were telling me that their entire brief was to look for negative stories. To look,
yeah, it's wild.
Sat at a few beers, and Ollie told me that's all they were there for, you know, just to look at putting it down. So, you know, I don't like reading the English media because it becomes so cynical. They're like those old guys from the Muppets, Waldorf and Statler, you know, always pointing out the problems.
But incredibly calculated way.
Yeah. Far more calculated than the 2 Muppets.
But I mean, what have your first impressions been of the games? Obviously, like you said, we haven't been able to see everyone play yet. You know, over the next day or 2 we will. But you know, France. One of the things that you called was you said France would falter. come the World Cup, 4 big injuries. Nevertheless, they came out 4-1 against Australia.
Yeah, well, there's the point. 4-1 against Australia. I mean, faltering against. In their build-up to the World Cup, they lost to Croatia and they drew with Croatia. Croatia is a team that let's remember in 2018 got to the final of the World Cup. Modric was on fire, and if Modric is on fire, a team like Croatia can advance. Have a nice run into this World Cup. No one's talking about them, and it's like they're playing Morocco today. This video will be after that game, but
the odds on them were great.
I like 11 to 10. No, I like the 11 to 10 on Croatia to beat Morocco. I even like the 45% return on Germany.
Yeah.
I would look today at a Germany-Belgium double.
Yeah.
And look at cashing that in. But going forward, you look at you asked me a question. What did I think of the World Cup? You read there's so much hyperbole around the World Cup in terms of reading this and reading that and the stories and the LGBTQ and all these all these other sideline political stories. But when the whistle blows, I can't help but being sucked in.
Of course.
I just want to be at home watching the World Cup on the couch, having a beer, telling my kids to be quiet and enjoying it, and I have. I've watched every game. It's been fantastic. As soon as we finish shooting here, I'm off to a local establishment to watch the 12 o'clock game. So I'm not going to ruin that run. I think it's been a World Cup.
I mean, for me, 2014 is I grew up in a rugby household, as you know.
Sorry about that.
And 2014 was the first time that my interest actually peaked in soccer, and it coincided with the World Cup. And there's just something about World Cup tournaments across sports that the stakes are higher, the excitement's higher, and regardless of the controversy that mars these tournaments, like we've very much seen in this one, is like you said, when whistle blows and you're watching two teams play, and it doesn't actually matter who they are. It's a World Cup, and
look, I'm disappointed that the only disappointment for me, and I know, a lot of my friends that are going to these games are based in Dubai. They're not based in Qatar because they don't. It seems a bit punitive to be there, and these guys like to drink.
Yeah.
So they don't trust themselves and don't trust the regime that's there to be able to have a good time and be a bit naughty. But it is their country, and I was sad to see that they did an about turn, and it's all commercial. I don't hear anything from Budweiser. All I hear from FIFA, or someone made the comment that if you can't go to a game for 3 hours without a beer, that's not the point. The point is a beer is enjoyed with a game for most fans, and that's what they're used to. And I'm amazed that the Budweiser hasn't.
I know, it's huge irony. You just see that Budweiser logo underneath the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You don't see one in someone's hands.
But there is one place there, and the fans look to be happy, especially the winning fans. The Saudis looked pretty happy yesterday, and good for them. But there's some upcoming games, and Wales versus Iran. I think it's on Friday. Yeah. Yeah,
that's a Friday game.
You got 11 to 10 with seeing what England did to Iran.
Yeah.
And Wales aren't England, but and thankfully so.
But they're not Iran.
But they're not Iran either. I like the 11 to 10 on the Iran game. I love the 13 to 20 on the Senegal. That's a 65% return.
Look, I mean, Senegal. Did you watch the Netherlands-Senegal game? It was. Netherlands were on the 84th minute scored their first goal. And
they were lucky. That should have. I mean, they were lucky to grab all 3 points.
And I think when you look at Senegal, it's such a pity that they are a good team, but without Mane, that's the difference with that goal. So it's like they can hold Netherlands out for 84 minutes. But to get on the score sheet, they need a guy like Mane, and unfortunately they couldn't. So I think it's going to be a very tough tournament for them.
There's certain teams that have a plethora of players and stars. Senegal isn't one of them.
Yeah.
And so when you get a guy like Sadio Mane that is not playing in the World Cup, it's a big blow for them.
Yeah.
And a big blow for the tournament because he's a class player. So I can't wait to see Brazil play Serbia.
Yeah.
I know my friends in Serbia are flying over for that game, and I wish them the best of luck. Look, I think that'll be a game of goals. I would definitely look at over 3.5 in that game.
Well, let's actually chat a little bit because we've got four
England.
great games
England
tomorrow.
at 6-10. Okay, let's chat about the games tomorrow. You got Switzerland, Cameroon. It's 15-20 on Switzerland. Probably not a bad bet. Even Belgium to beat Canada. But remember, Lukaku is not playing for the first 2 games of the tournament, if at all.
That's later tonight, the Belgium game. I think that one's best maybe combined in a multi-bet. Like you said, if you took a Belgium-Germany, that would give you odds of like over 3-1.
Yeah, even a Wales, Switzerland, even a Wales, Switzerland, Germany. Look, there's a lot of interesting games coming up. You've got 6-10 early betting, 6-10 Argentina versus Mexico, a must-win game for Argentina. You've got France 17-20 over Denmark. You've got Poland at 8-10 over Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
Tunisia, I like 23-20 over Australia. England 6-10 over USA. There's a lot. Netherlands 85% return on your money over Ecuador. There's a lot of good bets coming up, and I'll be posting some of them. I did post on my MoneyMan Facebook and website to take Croatia. So hopefully I've tipped that and it comes in for people.
And just a little message again to the viewers is just keep an eye on that Facebook page because these sort of games, the predictions come out half an hour before kickoffs when we've also seen the lineups and can make a more informed decision closer to the time. So, we're shooting these videos obviously and trying to give most kind of comprehensive preview, but keep an eye on the MoneyMan Facebook page, SA Soccer Twitter, and SA Soccer Facebook page because those bets will be coming in thick and fast, throughout the week.
And like them because we're feeling unloved.
Like them, dislike them, angry react.
Yeah, whatever.
In terms go ahead. No, in terms of tomorrow's games, well, I mean, tonight, definitely going to be putting some money on Belgium and then Germany at 3 p.m. today. The video may come out after that though. But in terms of tomorrow, I like Uruguay, 1.73 against Korea. I actually took Uruguay as sort of my underdog team that's going to...
What betting thing are you? Sporting
bet, yeah.
Look, with WSB, and this is why you need multiple accounts and different things, are 8-10.
8-10.
Yeah, that's a full 10%.
On Uruguay.
That's full 10%. And when you're betting, 10%
that's huge,
is huge.
When you're betting your sort of money. Putting down my 100 rand.
Uruguay to beat Republic of Korea on WSB is 8-10. You gotta love that bet. Brazil over Serbia. I can't cheer for Brazil even though I bet on them for this. I've got too many mates in Serbia that I want them to win. Wales, Iran, definitely that's Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get on the Senegal train against Qatar.
Okay.
The only reason Qatar are there is because they bought the World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, hosting the World Cup. 300 billion they spent on that. A lot of money.
Easy money.
Netherlands versus Ecuador, that's going to be a good game. Look, there's a lot of great games coming up, so stay tuned to the thing. I can't wait to see Brazil play because I think I put a lot of money on them to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And I still think that's a good bet, but they've come down 25% in the betting since I placed the bets. Not that has anything to do with it.
Well, it shows the money moving in.
The money's moving in on Brazil. Yeah. At 4.65, people saw it as a great value bet, as I did, and they've taken a lot of it. I think now it's less than 29-10.
Which is it's not worth now putting your money on that unless you're lumping big money.
Yeah, unless you're lumping big money. But it's England will still be getting that 6-1 result, for 6-2 result again for England will start getting people to open their crusty wallets in the UK, it's been. I think it's been a better than I expected spectacle so far.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's just like you said, it's testament to a World Cup tournament that regardless of what's going on it's a World Cup and it's amazing to watch.
Well, you would have been a lady when the World Cup was here, but I remember a sense of euphoria and camaraderie and harmony in this country like I'd never experienced before. People were hugging each other. The fan walks were amazing. I think there was
a great World Cup.
Yeah, I think there was one tourist incident in the entire month.
No, I remember the obviously more of the vibe than I do the soccer. I think I was 10 or 11 years old when,
No, it was
when
great.
that happened.
Anyway,
But,
I hope that everybody else is enjoying the games, and I think we're going to shoot again on Monday. And we'll have seen every team and then some, and we'll know a better lay of the land and be able to have a bit more. See, I don't make a lot of bets during the first round.
Yeah.
You want to see how teams are responding, especially playing at this time of year. They haven't done that before, and it is hot in Qatar.
Yeah, and I think also like in the context of a World Cup, it's not a league. It's not a league structure. So if you look at Argentina, for instance, losing their first game, you know they now have to win everything. So it also changes the dynamic of how teams go into this game. You know, there's not like for Argentina there won't be a meaningless game in the final game of the group stages, and the same for other sides in other groups. So it's like holding off on the first round is actually sometimes the best call because the whole dynamic changes.
Well, I think the rule of thumb for every country is that you don't want to lose your first game.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second one is where you know a lot more about what you've got to do. And when you're looking to place bets, and the outcome is a psychological predetermination in terms of you've determined what you need to do, those are big factors in betting.
Yeah.
And because when someone needs a result, it's a huge advantage to the bettor.
Yeah.
And you know what you have a better idea what you're doing. And the third, and again in the third game is also a very tricky round to bet in because teams, playing for the draw, not wanting to lose, needing a win, which again opens up a different style of play and leads to all permutations. So I look forward to doing our video on Monday.
Yeah, do a nice wrap.
And hope all your bets are winning ones.
Thanks, Kev. You too.
Cheers, buddy.